Hi there, it's Ash here from the Retro Gaming blog, and I'm here to do a how to play on Space Hulk on a 3DO. So you'll start the game and you'll open on this screen here, which has got two doors. This is known as the Antechamber. So the door on the left takes you through to a series of training missions, classic missions and Space Hulk originals, and the door on the right will actually take you through to the main campaign of the game. Always a wise idea to start off on the left door first to get acclimatized to what the game has to offer and get comfortable with the controls. You'll also be going in the deep end with it a little bit because you'll get to take control of all the Space Marines, and the door on the right, which takes you through to the full campaign, actually eases you in a little bit, but it's good to understand how everything works prior, because it does suddenly just dump you into a really hard mission. Okay, so let's talk about the status panels around the map screen. So in the top left, you basically have your Terminator name, your left hand weapon, and your right hand weapon. In the bottom left, you'll have a nutrition bar or health, and the experience points or rank. In the bottom right, you'll have the information panel. This will give you a chance to remind yourself of the mission objectives and the orders you have issued to an active Terminator. Moving to the cursor to the icon on the mission information icon there, which is like a question mark, and pressing A will give you a spoken summary of your mission objectives and your Terminator's orders information. So in campaign missions, you'll start off as a junior member and then you'll be working your way up to squad leader. A note to remember is that this will only appear until you are promoted to squad leader. At the bottom there, underneath the map, you have the freeze time bar. Okay, and what this does is once you press the P button or the play button on the control pad, time will actually freeze for a moment to allow you to strategize a little bit in the map, and once that runs down to 0 or drains to nothing, the game will automatically resume. In the top right is your issuing orders panel. You'll be able to cycle through your squad of Terminators using the C button from one Terminator to the next, and then if you press the B button, you'll be able to cycle through the actual order list, which is these icons here that you can see going, and you can just press the left shift button and the B to cycle back through them again if you want to go backwards and forwards to save time. What do these orders actually mean? Well, this one here is the advanced icon, and this is the most basic order that you'll be using and probably the most common. Basically, it causes your Terminator to walk forwards to the point that you've selected on the scanner. This is the retreat icon. It will cause your Terminator to move backwards to a specified point, and it will always lay down any suppressing fire on any pursuing enemies, so it will be basically walking backwards and firing. This icon here is the Overwatch icon. Overwatch is considered to be an on-off state, so a Terminator issued with an advanced order will stop and attack any enemy he detects. All your Terminators commence a mission with Overwatch on. Okay, so anything that comes into their path, they will basically blow them away. You may want to switch that off at a time if you have limited ammo, such as someone carrying a flamer, or if you want them to ignore any Genestealer or hostiles to save that ammunition. This icon here is cover direction, so a Terminator given the cover direction order will stay stationary and he will cover the direction in which he is facing. Any enemy he sees in that direction he will shoot. Cover direction is similar to Overwatch, except that a Terminator focuses on one direction unless he really has to defend himself, so if he gets attacked from behind and then engages in melee combat. Cover direction is more efficient than Overwatch, as a Terminator will detect and deal with enemies selectively, allowing a squad commander to establish fields of fire. This order is very useful for covering corridors, establishing strong points, and keeping the heat off your Terminators engaged in crucial operations. Once you have issued this order, you cannot give the Terminator any more orders until you choose to change the function. This is the open door, so you can send your Terminators to open doors. So this is the closed door. Basically, it's quite important with any of these open and close icons that these commands that you position the cursor correctly on the right side of the door before they perform the action. This icon is the follow icon, so your Terminator will basically follow another Terminator that you move around the map. which is very handy if you want them to move out in pairs. There's a few icons on here that I haven't actually put on. They're quite self-explanatory though. There's a pick-up icon and a drop icon, so you may want to pick up some like explosives or something. You can just send Terminators out to pick those up. There's another one which is a search area icon, which is basically looks like a radial grid with arrows pointing out of it, and that's basically to send a Terminator to go to a specified area and search it and report any items of interest to you and the mission. While walking around in the first person view, it's important that sometimes you might need to look up and down, especially down, because there are mines on the floor, and you have to just basically hold the left shift button, and if you press up or down while you do that, you'll be able to aim at the floor, and then you could shoot anything that might be a threat. Pressing the A button will fire your Terminator's projectile weapon, so it could be, well, it usually is the bolter, so you'll see these little bullets fly out. And that'll take down anyone that's in your way. Pressing the B button will fire the secondary weapon, so if you have something like a grenade launcher in the other arm, you will fire that. When you get into hand-to-hand combat, B is your parry button, so B will always be your block button, and A is your attack buttons. And that when you see them bring up their claw to attack, which you will kind of get a gut instinct for, you tap repeatedly the parry button, which is B, and you tap that, and then once that bounces off, as soon as the claw bounces off, you then repeatedly tap the A button for attack. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about tactics, just the very basics of tactics. So you have your squad of Terminators, you can issue all these commands out, but what do you do when you get out onto the field? Well, you'll have these entry points or spawn points for the Genestealers to come out at you, and these are marked by red arrows and red dashes, and they're an infinite spawn that come out of there. And what you want to do usually is basically block those off with Terminators holding a bolter weapon, and that they can take out any that keep spawning out at you. And the other thing that you need to do is basically then move your other Terminators up the field, blocking any incoming Genestealers that might be coming from other areas on the map. And you'll have like, so you might have like this map here, you need a flamer to purge the rooms that have got cross hatches in, and you would need to position all your Terminators in a way where he can then move up, because if he's at the front, you need to kind of move the ones, you need to move him out of the way so the ones behind him can get forward and kind of protect him, and you just slowly move up the map. And that's basically it. Just think of the spawn points as a flow of hostiles, and you're diverting that flow or plugging that flow. This isn't to say that this is the absolute be all and end all, that this is how the game plays throughout, because it doesn't. It does change, and there are other hostiles. There are so many more different variety of enemies, and you'll have to take them down in different ways. Some can't be taken out with projectile weapons, but I'm not here to tell you how to do that. You guys need to play that and find that out for yourself. If you are getting stuck, there is a way to make the game easier. It doesn't actively have any easy, medium or hard levels, but there is a way you can actually make the game slightly more easier in the Antechamber screen. So when you have those two doors there, if you punch in this code by holding down one of the shoulder buttons, and you just type that sequence in, it'll bring up like a little menu, and you can have infinite health or infinite ammo, or where your weapons won't jam up. If you're new to it, I would recommend maybe having infinite ammo, or maybe having your bolters not jam up. Everything else I would leave, and just start off that way. There will be consequences for doing it that way, but I think it will help ease you in before ramping up that pressure. That's a little help there anyway if you need it. If not, you can just carry on. This is Ash for the Retro Gaming Blog. Please, please, please play this game if you haven't played it, or if you've tried it and were disappointed with it. Try and use some of these tips. Hopefully it will help you, find the enjoyment that I had from the game. This is one of my favourite games of all time. I play it now, still today, some 20 years later, and it really deserves a lot more recognition. Try and apply some of these techniques and give it another go. It's a really good game.